Myself Kavya and I am from the Department of Management Studies, and our topic is the legal aspects of business management. First, let me see about what is law. It is the rule of conduct developed by the government or society over a certain period of time. It follows certain practices and customs like deals with the crime, businesses, social relationship, properties, and other financial issues, etc. Now let me see about what is management. As everyone knows, a group of people form together to form a certain goal or to achieve anything under a certain guideship is called as management. It is maintained by the CEO, that is Chief Executive Officer, or other individual having the authority to manage the group of people. It could be easy to understand every type of business legal term and conditions with the knowledge and the certain knowledges of business laws and regulations. Now let me see about the object of law. Business law is also called as commercial law. It is the rules and regulations associated with any business at both the companies and at the individual levels. And it is the national and the international business law is taught in every law business schools, and it is main essential for the company. And this law will ensure that to maintain the healthy and the work culture at every levels of the organization. That is, the employees should have their every to work with each other. They need to have a healthy and friendly work culture with other employees. And now let me see about what are the objectives which is in the business law. First one is to define taxation law. This kind of law gives the details and the procedure of the business related tax that need to be followed in the company. And the next one is to define employees' rights and duties. Every employee in an organization should know what are the rights and what are duties and rules and regulations that is followed in the organization to achieve the certain goals in an organization. And the next one is make business environment friendly. As nowadays there is many business both in the social media and in the day-to-day practices. So the employees should maintain the environment friendly with other employees, and this law of business should ensure such as an environment and to define roles of various entities. And the next one is to define the laws of various business cases. A business might face many situations like contract drafting, work deletions, contract breach, the penalty for agreement violation, etc. Each of them is dealt with in different ways. However, the business law notes give details of the same. And the next one is ensure the healthy competition. Any law or rule ensure that things run smoothly, healthily, and there should be transparent competition. There should be no hidden competition that should be followed in an organization. And next one is the formulate legal and ethical rules. It formulates business related legal and ethical regulation, procedure and substantial laws, code structure, etc. And then define property, which is also called as technological related matters. This law analyzes the effect of both the technology and the property related matters in business. A business law attorney can give expert advice regarding this. And the next one is formulate bankruptcy. Formulating laws related to bankruptcy is essential because it is a crisis where a company has more liabilities than asset. When the asset is lesser than the liabilities, this bankruptcy law should be followed. As a result of this, the law is followed. The court declared that the company could not manage this business, and there are several ways to deal with it. And the next one is the sales and the recognition law. A company may sell its business to another organization or reorganize it for better management purposes or the company's infrastructure development. The laws of a business state that the rules related to such activities. Now let me see about the types of business law. First one is the employment law. Duties of the employer and employee. It is the right of the employees to know their duties, that what are the duties they need to work in the organization for both the employer and the employee. It deals with the issues like health and safety, workplace harassment, wages, workplace discrimination, etc. Next one is the tax law. As everyone knows, we need to pay the tax according to our salary, but when the employees refuse to pay the tax, it may lead to some serious consequences. And the next one is the antitrust law. There need to be a healthy competition to avoid market allocation, and it also avoids price fixing and monopoly. That is, and it ensures that there is a healthy competition in the market without any unnecessary competition, that is unnecessary dominance in the market. So that the similar firms can also operate without any to avoid the market allocation. And the next one is the litigation law. Litigation law deals with the consumer complaints such as due to the dissatisfaction or any other adverse situation. This is the legal actions which are the more expansive, and settling them with a formal agreement is necessary. And the fifth law is the bankruptcy law. Bankruptcy law happens when the liabilities are more than the asset. That is, when the assets are lower than the liabilities, a business cannot pay their debts. So in that case, a court declares it's bankrupt. These are the methods to recognize or file to bankruptcy detailed in the way. And the next one is the formation law. In this law, they need to follow some legal steps which are detailed in the formation of the law of business. Then the next type is the intellectual property law. It is the invention or innovation like trademark, logo, design. For a particular business that need to survey in the market, we need to have some creative ideas like innovating the new trademark, logo, design, which need to be different from the other company to attract the people. That is the related with any invention or innovation. The business might have to expand in this rapidly changing digital world. And the next one is the negotiation law. It is a contract or merger. The word merger refers to when one or more company join together to form a single company. It is called as a merger. The merger is done to expand their company. It's done when one company faces losses or they can't able to survey in the market. So only the two companies will merge. To grow, expand or reduce competitions. Such rules are elaborated in the contract for the business law. Now let me see about what are the importance of business law. The first one is the business setup. It helps to set up a business in legal and planned way by following the law step by step. Then the rights of the stakeholders. Helps to meet the stakeholders' ownership and requirement by maintaining a transparent and healthy operations, and thus keeping a stakeholders more happy and in a satisfied manner. The next one is the compensation. The compensation is done for both for the management and for the employees. Violation of such laws may lead to some illegal concepts. Then the next one is the drafting contract. When one party agrees to exchange for some consideration signed by both parties and made legally enforced. And the next one is the litigation settlement. Court cases may be due to some reasons like employment or contract related disputes, workplace discrimination, intellectual property right, etc. And the last importance is the labor management. Laborers are those who are the integral part of their main source in the company. Without the laborers, there is no company, because they are the main element in the company. So only they are considered as an integral part of the company, and it is necessary to look after at their utmost welfare. Any business have several laws related to labor relations. Now let me see about the differences between the business law and corporate law. First, in business law, it focuses on the legal rules of marketing, production, employee relation, safety and health. And in corporate law, it focuses on the legal rules of acquisition, sale and bankruptcy. In business law, it concentrates on policy enforcement, and in corporate law, it focuses on avoiding litigation, peaceful and in transparent settlement. In business law, it incorporates how the business function will affect its growth, but in corporate law, it incorporates how the business will function. In business law, UCU, that is Uniform Commercial Unit, establishes, but in corporate law, there is the establishment of federal and state government. In business law, they alter the way that is happened inside the company, that is internally changed, but in corporate law, the changes will happen outside the world. Now, let me see about what is the Companies Act. The Companies Act was passed in 1956, which has governed business entities in the country. It was developed to regulate the formation of the company. The main aim of the Companies Act 2013 is to improve the quality of the corporate and governance and protect the investors from the gamblers. And then to promote the competition in the marketplace and increase the corporate transparency across the business. Now let me see about the features of Companies Act 2013. First one is the independent legal entity, incorporated association, limited liability, common seal, perpetual existence, transferability of shares, separations of management and ownership. Memorandum of Association, which is shortly known as MOA. As per the section 256, the word memorandum refers to the original MOA that the company registered that follows the rules laid down in the Companies Act. Let us further look into the Memorandum of Association content. But according to the section 4, there are 3 classes. That is, the MOA contains 3 classes, namely the name class, situation class and the objective class. But according to section 2 of 56, memorandum is just the original MOU that the company registered, rules laid down in the Companies Act. But according to section 4, MOA is divided into 3 classes: name class, situation class and object class. Let me see about one by one. First one is the name class. The company is majorly divided into 2 types, that is public company and the private company. Usually the public company is denoted by limited. In short form they tell as LTD, and the private company is denoted by private limited. In short form they written as PVT and LTD. Next one is the situation class. Situation class refers to at which place, state and at which the office is registered under the class. It is it denotes the place where the office is registered, and it also determines the geographical constraints of the company. And the next one is the object class. In this class, as and when the company expands to include and incorporate more objects. Now let me see about AOA. That is nothing but the Articles of Association. According to section 2 of 5, a version, the word articles refers to a version altered to comply with the laws stipulated in the Act. But according to section 5, it is articles are nothing but a document that contains the rules and regulations regarding the management of the company. But according to section 2 of 5, the articles refers to a version. It is a particular version altered to comply with the laws stipulated in the Act. But according to 5, it is nothing but a simple document that contains certain the rules and regulations that need to be followed by the management of the company. Now, let me see about what is company. Company means a body which contains a body of individuals. They are working together for associated together for a common objective in order to achieve a profit for some charitable purposes. That is, a company is nothing but which contains a management, the laborers who need to work. In order to work, all of them need to work together in order to achieve some certain goals or to earn profit from a market. Now let me see about what are the types of company. The first type is the registered company. Every company need to be registered in order to survey in the market. They need to be particularly registered under the Indian Companies Act 1956. And the next one is the public company. Public company is nothing but they release the shares in every public in the society can buy the shares. But compared to private company, only the people who work in the company can buy the shares. It is the major difference between the private company and the public company. In the public company, 7 or more persons join hands. That is, minimum there is 7 persons, maximum there can be any number of persons in order to work in an organization. And the next one is the holding company. A company shall be deemed to be the holding company to another if that other it is a subsidiary. Next one is the unlimited company. A company not having any limit on the liability of its member. There is no limit on the liability of its member is considered as the unlimited company. First one is the registered company, public company, holding company, and the unlimited company. Now, let me see about the characteristic. What are the characteristics of the company? The first one is the incorporated association. It comes into being from the date mentioned in the corporate register. Certificate of incorporation. It may be noted in the connection that section 11, the particular section mentioned as section 11, provides that an association of more than 10 persons carrying on business in banking, or an association of more than 20 persons carrying an association in the banking, it includes more than many persons, that is more than maximum of more than 20 persons. The next one is the artificial legal person. It has to act through the board of directors elected by the shareholders. The shareholders need to elect the board of directors. The mainly board of directors are the brain of the company, and who are the only brains of the companies, which is the body, and the company can and does not act only through them. Next one is a separate legal entity. A company has a separate legal entity and is independent of its members. The creditors of the company can only recover their money only from the company and the property of the company. The creditors can only recover their money. The person who can only recover the money from the company is the creditors. And next one is the separate property. As a company is a legal person. As the third character we mentioned, it as the legal entity. The same is mentioned as here. Separate property. As the company is maintained by a legal person distinct from its members, it is capable of owning, enjoying, and disposing of property in its own name. Although its capital and assets are contributed by their shareholders in the company, they are not in private and joint owners of the company. The next one is the delegated management. A joint stock company is an autonomous company, self-management and self-controlling organization. Since it has a large number of members, all of them cannot take part in the management of the affairs of the company. Next, according to the mode of incorporations, the company is divided into chartered company. It is a special chartered by the Monraj. The best example for this East Indian Company and the Bank of England, or the chartered company incorporated in England. Both the companies are in England. It is the main chartered power and the nature of the business of the chartered company are defined by the charter which incorporates it. It has the more wide powers. The next one is the statutory company. These companies are incorporated by a special act which is passed by the central government or state legislative. Such companies, they don't have any AOA or MOA, that is nothing but the articles of association or memorandum of association. For the best example for the statutory company is SBI, State Bank of India, RBI, that is Reserve Bank of India, Industrial Financial Corporation, Unit Trust of India, State Trading Incorporation, and Life Insurance. And the next type is the incorporated company. It is the popular mode of types of the company. It is also called as registered company, as when the word registered company came, the particular company need to be registered under the Companies Act of 1956. Then the certificate of incorporation has been issued by the Register of Companies. Such companies come into existence only when they are registered under the Act and the certificate has been issued. This is the most popular incorporating of a company. Registered companies the registered or incorporated companies are widely divided into two types. The first one is the companies limited by shares, and the second one is the companies limited by guarantee. First one, let me see about one companies limited by shares. These type of companies have a share capital and the liability of each member, or the company is limited to the MOA, that is Memorandum of Association. During the existence, that is during the wind up means when the company is at the time of closing of the company due to any loss, or the company cannot able to survey in the market, their member can be called upon. Their member means the shareholders who bought the particular shares from the company are called upon to pay the amount remaining unpaid on the shares subscribed by him. Those shares which are subscribed by a particular person need to be paid at the time of the existence of the company. This is called companies limited by shares. And the next one is companies limited by guarantee. They may or may not have the share capital. Each member promises to pay. Here also they are describing about their shareholders. During the time of buying the shares, the person need to be signed at the MOA. That is nothing but the Memorandum of Association. In that agreement, they are described as the member have to be pay the fixed amount at the time of winding up. In either when the company is facing their losses. That is only mentioned in the second point. That is, each member promises to pay the fixed amount specified in the MOA, that is Memorandum of Association, in the event of liquidation of the company for payment of debt and the liabilities of the company. Yes. According to the number of members in the company is divided into two types, that is private company and the public company. Now let me see about what is private company. According to the section 3 of 1, the private company describes as it is the limit the number of the members should need to be 50, excluding the employees who are members or ex-employees who are and continue to be member. There will be restrict to the right of the transfer of shares, if any. It prohibits any invitations to the public to subscribe for any shares or debentures of the company. It's given that according to the section 3 of 1, the private company, the maximum limit, the employees who work in the maximum limit in the company is only 50, which exclude the employees who are members or ex-employees who are and continue to be a member. This particular section restricts the transfer of shares of the employees if there is any, and it also prohibits any invitation. As I mentioned earlier, private company is one who gives the shares to only the people who work inside the company. They will not give the shares to outside to the open public to buy their shares. But in case of public company, the company can give their shares can give the opportunity to buy their shares in their open public in the society. But in the private company, only the people who works in the particular organization can only buy the shares. But not all the organizations who works in the topmost management like CEO, the board of directors, those only have the rights to buy the shares. Now let me see about the public company. According to section 3 of 1, the articles do not restrict the transfer of shares of money. But in the private company, they restrict the transfer of share of money, if any. But it imposes no restriction of the maximum number of members on the company. But in the private company, the only total number of employees can work is minimum 50. But here there is no restriction. How many employees, they want to ask how many employees are working in the public company, but there will be a restriction in the private company. It invites the general public to purchase the shares and the debentures of the companies. Here mentioned that it invites the general public. There in the private company, they restrict the general public. They will not give their shares to the public to buy their shares. Now let me see about the major difference between the private company and the public company. The minimum number of the private company is 2 and the maximum number cannot exceed 50. It's only within 50. The maximum number should be within 50 in the private company. And in the public company, the minimum number is 7 and there is no restriction for the maximum number. Maximum number can be 100, 500 or more than that. Now let me see about the Consumer Protection Act. A consumer is one who buys the goods from the shopkeepers or traders, or not the one who resell the product to the traders. It's mentioned not the brokers, who are the intermediaries. The one who need the product to consume. The people who buy the product to consume is called as consumers. The Consumer Protection Act came into existence in 1986. It includes the goods and services of all the public, private and cooperative sectors. It provides for better protection of the interest of the consumers, to make provisions for the establishment of Consumer Council and other authorities for the settlement of consumer disputes and for matter connected hitherwith. And here they provide the platform for the consumer where they can file their complaint, and forum that takes action against the concerned supplier, and compensation is guaranteed to the consumers. Now let me see about what are the rights that the consumer should have. First one is the right to safety. As we are buying the product, we have every rights about the safety about the product we consume. So we need to check the quality and the guarantee of the product before we consume it. The main criteria we should look into is whether it is a ISA grade or it is AgMark. The main the seal should be mentioned in the particular product. We have to check before we consume it. Then the next one is the right to choose. As we the consumers have the right to choose particular goods from particular goods to choose from a variety of goods and in a competitive price. We have the right to choose from a wholesale which product we need to consume, which we don't need. We have the rights to choose from a variety of goods and the right to be informed. All the necessary details and change the consumers need to be informed about the necessary details that need to be mentioned about the product and make her or him both her or him need to be act according to it, and they can change their buying decision according to their wish. That's the right to consumer education. Every consumer need to have a particular knowledge about their product before they consume or they buy their product in order to avoid the exploitation. Then you need why we are consuming it. Is it necessary for us need to consume, whether we need it now, like that some question need to be arise in the consumer mind before they purchase their particular product. And the next one is the right to be heard. This means the consumer will get due attention to express their grievance at a suitable forum. And the next right is the right to seek compensation. It is defines that the consumer has the right to seek redress against unfair and inhuman practices that is followed by the company or any exploitation of the consumer. And the next one is the responsibilities of the consumer. First one is the responsibility to be aware. As mentioned, it is the rights. It is we need to check in the safety and quality before purchasing. A consumer has to be mindful of the both safety and quality of the products and services before purchasing the particular product. And the next one is the responsibility to think independently. Consumers should be well concerned about what they want, why they need to buy this product, is this necessary for them, like the questions they need to arise in their mind. So it's the responsibility to think independently for the consumers. Next one is the responsibility to speak out. As we the consumers have every rights to buy a product, we need to speak without fear to know about the products, to out their grievance and tell traders what they exactly want, or they can give some suggestions about their products. Next one is the responsibility to complain. Consumers has every rights to complain about the particular product, whether which may dissatisfy his needs. That is, it is a consumer responsibility to express and file a complaint about the dissatisfaction of goods or services in a sincere and in a fair manner. Next one is responsibility to be an ethical consumer. They should be fair and not engage themselves with deceptive practices. These are the rights and responsibilities of the consumers before buying their products. Now let me see about the environmental law. As the name mentioned, this law, why this law came means in order to protect the environment against cutting of trees, deforestation, etc. To protect the environment, this law was introduced by the government. This includes environmental regulation, laws governing management of natural resources like forests, minerals or fisheries, etc. There are 4 environmental laws that is followed in India. First one is the Water Cess Act 1974, Control of Act 1977, Forest Conservation Act 1980, Environmental Protection Act 1986. These are some of the general environmental acts that is followed in our country. The first one is the Environmental Act, which just came into effect in 1986, and the next one is the Biological Diversity Act 2002. The Public Liability Insurance Act and Rules 1991 and the National Environment Tribunal Act 1995 and National Green Tribunal Act 2010. These are some of the general environmental acts that is followed in the country. Next one is the corporation tax. It is also known as corporate tax. It is a direct tax levied on a net income or a profit that corporate enterprises make their businesses. The tax is imposed at a specific rate as per the provisions of the Income Tax Act 1961. Companies which are both public and privately registered in India under the Companies Act 1956 are liable to pay the tax. Corporation tax. Tax is different from the corporation tax. The general company that is registered under the Companies Act want to pay their corporation tax without fail. Now let me see about the objectives of corporation tax. First one is the increasing savings, economic stability, enhanced growth, reduction in tax liability, minimizing litigation, and making productive investment. These are the areas we need to consider while talking about the corporate tax. First one is claiming appropriate exemptions, claiming deduction under various heads of income, evaluating expenses in the appropriate head of accounts, capitalization of assets, claiming deduction on depreciation, additional and depreciation, analyzing unobserved depreciation and using it to one's advantage, availing tax benefit on bad debts. These are some of the areas into consideration while one person want to pay their corporate tax to the government. These are some of the methods of tax planning. There are 4 methods, namely the short-term tax planning, long-term tax planning, permissive tax planning, purposive tax planning. The first one is the short-term tax planning. It refers to the planning and execution to reduce taxable income at the end of the final year. The short-term tax planning will be considered at the end of the final financial year. The long-term tax planning starts from the beginning of the income year, which is followed throughout the year. Short-term tax planning will be considered at the end of the financial year, but the long-term tax planning will be considered when the beginning of the income year, and it is followed throughout the year. And the next one is the permissive tax planning. It involves making plans pertaining to the provisions permissible under the law, like planning of earning income under section 10. Next one is the purposive tax planning. It includes applying tax provisions that offers tax benefits based on their replacement of assets, correct selection of investment, diversing business activities and income, etc. These are the 4 methods of corporate tax planning. Now let me see about the GST. As everyone knows, the full form of GST is Goods and Service Tax. First, the GST was started by 29th March 2017. The bill was passed. First, on the 29th March 2017, the bill was passed by both houses of the parliament, but the GST was implemented in India by 1st July 2017. But the bill was passed in 29th March 2017, but it was regularly followed in India in 1st July 2017. But before, it was mentioned in the budget speech by former Union Finance Minister Chidambaram in his budget speech 2006-7. He mentioned that we need to implement such a GST for certain goods and services. But in 2017 only they regulated the GST. It is a single direct tax in order to reduce the burden of paying indirect tax. Why GST came means in order to reduce the burden of paying the different indirect taxes. We are paying many indirect taxes to the government. In order to reduce them, the GST came into effect. Now let me see about the impact of GST. The first, GST aims to increase the number of taxpayers in the nation, which will help in the development of the nation's economy. And the second impact is the corruption-free nation, and diminishing tax evasion rates are also counted as some of the objectives of GST. And these are the positive impacts. First one is the simplified tax structure. Single tax and easier calculation have made GST provide India with a simple tax structure. Then the support for small and medium enterprises. It is noted that GST amount to be paid depends on the annual turnover of both the small and the medium enterprises. The organization need to be paid. They need to mention how many annual turnover and the size of the firm. On the basis of it, the company need to pay their GST to the government. This has been a major reward for the small and medium enterprises. And the next one is the enhanced operation throughout India. There has been a boost in operations throughout India because of the single unified tax structure, so making it easier for goods transportation across India. Next, increased volume of export. Reduction on custom duty have made the exports volume increased, have facilitated rise in the volume of exports. The custom duty price has been duty on goods have been decreased, so that many products are exported to foreign countries. So it is a major benefits to our country. Now let me see about the cyber law. Cyber law is nothing but some illegal activities that is happened through the internet or the communication devices or computer network or through the online illegal activities may be considered as cyber law. First one, it is legal aspects for cyberspace. The cyber law handles the issues of intellectual property, contract, jurisdiction, data protection laws, privacy and freedom of expression in the digital space. It can harm someone's security or finances. The best definition for the cyber law is any unlawful act where computer or communication device or computer network is used to commit or facilitate the commission of a crime. It is the best definition for the cyber law. Now let me see about the advantages of cyber law. What are the main benefits of having the cyber law in the country? It helps to promote e-commerce business in India, that is to provide legal recognition for electronic transaction and to regulate them. First we mentioned as it helps to promote e-commerce in India and provides legal recognition for electronic transport, and it also provides a legal framework for electronic governance by giving recognition to the electronic records and digital signatures. It also defines as the cyber crimes and prescribes the penalties for them. Next, let me see about the types. There are many types in cybercrime. The first one is the cyberbullying, form of harassment using electronic or communication devices such as computers, mobile phones, laptops. Through the electronic gadgets, the crime which is done by using the electronic gadgets like computers, mobile phones and laptops and other electronic devices which come under this crime will come under cyber bullying. And the next type is the cyber stalking, which attempts to contact a person to foster personal interaction repeatedly despite a clear indication of disinterest by such person and or monitors the internet, email or any other forms of electronic communication. This means a person that means the third party can give the third party can have the access to operate the other person's internet personal details like email, what are the communications they are using. This kind is called as cyber stalking. Next one is the cyber grooming, online relationship and pressure him or her for doing illegal activities. As we are in the moving world, fastest moving world, everyone are using smartphones and we are using many social media platforms. We are talking to unknown persons through online media. At that time there may be a relationship between them, and one person forced to do some illegal activities against another person is called as cyber grooming. And the next one is the online job fraud. Now there are many famous websites many promising websites like Naukri, Indeed, etc. These are the online job apps, but there are many online job fraud that has happened in the internet by giving false hope or promises of giving higher wages or giving a highest position in the management. If you pay some amount, we will be giving this job to you, like some foreign works like that. If you pay the certain amount of 50,000 to us, you can work in foreign countries at a certain amount. Like that, there are many fraud happens in the through internet. Like this crime is called as online job fraud. Next one is the online sextortion. Someone threatens to distribute private or sensitive materials. The third party which threatens to force to distribute the private and sensitive material. This is called as online sextortion. Next one is the phishing. Personal information like customer ID, IPIN, credit or debit card number, card expiry date, CVV number, etc. through mails. The person who forced to send these details like customer ID, IPIN, credit or debit card number, card expiry date, CVV number through mails. And the next one is the phishing. Before we discuss that one is the phishing that is described through mails. This will be sharing the information through phone calls. Personal information like customer ID, ATM PIN, OTP, CVV, etc. Sharing this information through phone calls are known as phishing. Next one is the smishing. Mobile phone text messages to lure victims into calling back on a fraudulent phone number, visiting fraudulent website or downloading content. This means we are getting company message, not like company messages, some fraudulent messages like we are providing some loans. If you call to these numbers, we will be providing some loans, and you have many work from home jobs, and you have a loan amount like this. There are many messages we are receiving in a day-to-day life. This under the come under smishing. Like that, there will be fraudulent website, the websites which are not recognized by the government. This is this is called smishing, and downloading some illegal content from the website also come under smishing. Next one is the SIM swap scam. SIM swap scam occurs when fraudster manage to get a new SIM card received against a registered mobile number. That is, one person is using a SIM card that is registered on his own name, but the third party, that is one who is doing illegal activities, will get the same SIM under the same registered mobile number, is called SIM swap scam. Through this, they get OTP required for making financial transaction. Next one is the credit card fraud. Unauthorized use of another credit information for the purpose of withdrawing funds. Using of credit card informations like their numbers, like what are the informations available in the credit card is used by the third party is called credit card fraud. The same type, there will be another type called debit card fraud. Debit card means the information in the debit card is utilized by the another person, third party person, is called debit card fraud. Next one is the impersonation and identity theft. This is like e-signature, password, or any other unique identification feature of the another person. The electronic signature, the person who can get another person's electronic signature and use it for some illegal purposes without their knowledge of their person is called as impersonation and identity theft. Next one is spamming. It's a commercial message sent via email, SMS, MMS, and in other social media. Next one is the ransomware. It is a type of computer malware that encrypts the files, storage media, on communication devices like desktops, laptops, mobile phones, etc. holding data as a storage. Ransomware is nothing but that encrypts the files, the storage, what are the files have been stored in a system on a computer devices like desktop, laptops and mobile phones. Wherever the data that's stored, it should be the third party will be getting those data. This is called as ransomware. Next one is the virus, worms, trojans. The virus, as everyone knows, the virus that damages our files and they replicate by itself. Worms, these are copies of themselves again and again on a local drive, network shares, etc. Next one is a Trojan. It is a genuine application. The Trojans, they open the backdoor entry to the computer, which will give malicious users access to the system, allowing the confidential and personal information to be theft. Next one is the data breach. Information is accessed without authorization. That is, without the knowledge of the owner, the information is accessed by the another person is called as data breach. Next one is the denial of services, DOS attack. Denying access to computer resources without the permission of owner. Without the knowledge of the particular owner, the another person can access their computer resources. Is known as DOS. That is nothing but the denial of services. And the next one is the DDoS. That is distributed denial of services. It is the online services unavailable by overwhelming it with traffic from multiple sources. DOS is nothing. DOS, that is the denial of services. It is a denying access. They are refusing the access to use to computer resources without the permission of the owner. DDoS is the distributed denial of services. It is on the online service unavailable by overwhelming it with traffic from multiple sources. And the next one is the cyber squatting. It is act of registering, trafficking or using a domain name with an intent to profit from a goodwill of a trademark belonging to someone else. It's called as cyber squatting. And the next one is the farming. It aims to redirect a website traffic to another. It is known as bogus website. Farming aims to redirect a website traffic it to another. And the next one is the online drug traffic. As the name mentioned, it is fully deals about the drugs like heroin, cocaine, and other illegal drugs using electronic means. It is not done done in the offline. It is done using in the online. Let's say the crime of selling, transporting, or illegally importing unlawful controlled substances such as heroin, cocaine, or other illegal drugs using electronic means. That is the drug which is sold through online. It is referred to as online drug traffic. Next one is the espionage. It is the act or practice of obtaining data and information without the permission and the knowledge of the owner. That is, it is getting the information, some important information or some important data that is still without the permission of the particular owner. These are some of the types of cybercrime. Thank you.